marks 100 days since Donald Trump took the presidency. Hear what USC students had to say about his second term in the Oval Office.
USC and UCLA are under microscope once again, but not in the way you think. More ahead.
And what might be USC's most beloved drink may soon be in short supply. ATVN has the story.
Annenberg TV News is next.
President Trump's first 100 days in office have been met with mixed opinion, with many criticizing the president for overpromising and under-delivering. Hi, I'm Marina Knapik.
I'm Rose-Marquze. ATVN's political anchor, Lindsay Augustine, has the story. Lindsay?
Thanks, Ari. Tomorrow is President Trump's 100th day in office. It's been marked by a flurry of anti-immigration actions, widespread tariffs, and government layoffs, all of which he promised during his campaign. He pledged to end the Israel-Hamas and Russia-Ukraine wars, although those conflicts are still ongoing. Trump also campaigned on strengthening the economy. While inflation has dropped, the stock market has also fallen by roughly 8%. A recent poll by Ipsos shows now 61% of Americans believe a recession is coming. Many Americans are not happy with Trump's performance. Another poll conducted by the AP shows over half of all Americans have an unfavorable view of him. It's the lowest approval in a president's first 100 days in over 70 years. Trump called the polling fake and said on Truth Social that the pollsters reporting these numbers should be investigated for election fraud. He promised to continue to fight to make America great again.
It's been a pretty chaotic first 100 days. People vote for him because they believe that prices will slow down, prices will decrease, right? And currently prices are not decreasing.
Honestly, I feel like the country's regressing right now in almost every way.
I think the tariffs, some of my friends particularly are affected by them. The aggressiveness of the administration, I think, has caught people a little off guard.
Trump is also getting pushback from higher education. The president has long criticized many universities' handling of pro-Palestinian protests and DEI initiatives. You may remember 2 weeks ago when he froze billions in funding for Harvard and other top schools. Now 10 of those schools are saying enough is enough. The Wall Street Journal reported that 10 elite universities created a collective to privately coordinate responses to the administration's demands. It did not name the universities. The collective is attempting to maintain school autonomy over admissions, hiring, and curriculum. Separately, over 500 universities and organizations have signed a letter protesting government overreach. The number has doubled since last Thursday. USC has not signed nor publicly pushed back on any of the Trump administration's actions. Back to you, Ari.
Industry experts warn that tariffs on the auto industry will not only raise car prices, but also increase repair costs. ATVN reporter Feli Pilego has the story.
Tariffs on foreign-made cars and vehicle parts are now in effect.
All we're really doing right now is more so just trying to make sure that we can keep our pricing around what it's been. Obviously, there will be some slight changes.
Bullet Performance specializes in BMW repair, has been a staple in the community for over 30 years. Service manager Nate Knight says interior parts may be hard to find.
I really think for BMWs, it's going to boil down to a lot of the interior parts, because all that stuff is actually manufactured outside the U.S.
According to the First Post America, a 25% tariff is in effect to all cars manufactured outside the U.S., impacting more than $460 billion in imports of vehicles and vehicle parts. This is an imported radiator hose, which is $60 right now. The manager here at Bullet Performance tells me this part could go up to $100 with these new tariffs taking place. USC economics professor Juan Gonzalez says over 30% of cars in the U.S. are made or even assembled in Mexico.
So Mexico has a competitive advantage when it comes to trade agreements with the rest of the world. There's not only USMCA that integrates US, Mexico, and Canada. Mexico can import parts from Japan, send them back to Europe, put an engine together, send them to the US.
Gonzalez tells me it could take weeks for consumers to start feeling the full effect of these tariffs. But in the meantime, it's always a good idea to buy now or repair the vehicle sooner rather than later. For Anambra Media, I'm Feli Pliego.
An iconic Los Angeles rivalry took place this weekend in DTLA, but it's probably not what you're imagining. While it might not become an Olympic sport before LA 28, sperm racing is creating quite the buzz.
Tristan Milker explodes through the finish line! USC wins!
It happened last Friday, and here's how it works. Two students, one from UCLA and one from USC, contributed a sample in a reproductive organ-shaped racetrack. Spectators then placed bets on who would win. Between two races, thousands of viewers bet over $400,000 on online gambling site Polymarket.
There's been a 50% decline in fertile men in the last 40 years. That's terrible. That's due to microplastics. That's due to poor diet and lifestyle choices. And so I think there's a lot we can do to kind of limit that. And that's how we're getting started here with entertainment. Every week they give me $1,000 to buy good food, to buy like a gym membership. They buy all these different type of things to kind of boost my biomarkers.
Organizers say the event hopes to raise awareness about men's fertility. According to a study in the Oxford Academic Journal, sperm count has been falling steadily since the early 1970s. A Keck urologist said the race is now calling attention to these numbers.
This sperm race did a great job, trying to raise awareness about destigmatizing the sensitive nature of fertility testing for couples. I think more men will want to check their sperm counts, I think, first and foremost. And I think there's lots of at-home fertility testing options now that it's easy to do at the comfort of your own home.
The sperm racing team developed what they call a professional sperm analysis kit to more easily measure male fertility factors. They say the event will help destigmatize conversations around fertility and health.
One of the world's favorite drinks may go up in price, way up in price. We're talking about matcha, of course. You've probably seen the popular bright green drink around campus. Matcha has surged on social media in recent years, but experts say production capacity in Japan hasn't kept up with demand, where 80% of it is made. Here at USC, students praise the drink's health benefits while still being caffeinated.
Depending on how stressed I am with school and stuff, I'm probably more likely to go buy matcha.
Right.
Quite sad to hear that there is a shortage.
I love drinking matcha. I drink it every morning, so it's an issue.
I feel bad I know matcha is pretty trendy right now, and it's probably impacting a lot of people, but, I'm staying safe.
Here on campus, several sites sell matcha. They include the Aruda Nature Cafe and Rock and Riley's, Yoboseo Superette, and Dolce, to name a few. Dolce founder James Choi told Annenberg Media his USC customers will not be affected by this shortage. Dolce's matcha comes straight from Japan, which helps them keep a consistent supply. The Japanese government is encouraging farmers to increase their matcha production, meanwhile, some businesses and consumers are starting to look for alternatives.
James Bullock is the new dean of USC Dornsife. The university made the announcement earlier today. Bullock joins the school following 6 years as the Dean of Physical Sciences at UC Irvine. He previously worked at Harvard University and Ohio State. Dornsife is USC's largest school, with over 7,700 students.
A USC student is hoping just one tiny performance can help launch her musical career. More ahead.
Scared to take the LA Metro? New protocols may help you feel safer. ATVN has the story.
One museum hopes their latest challenge will inspire Angelenos to channel their inner photographer. We'll have more after the break. You may have seen it before. NPR Tiny Desk concerts have reached millions online with short musical performances from some of the globe's biggest stars. But once a year, one undiscovered talent gets their shot. This week, Yo-Yo and her band of fellow USC students are fighting for their chance to play.
Entire band is made up of some of my best friends. They're all USC Thorne students. And then on top of that, the actual video itself was filmed by a bunch of SCA graduates. If I were to win, it definitely would be really cool just to gain a lot of exposure. But already, I think the experience has totally helped me gain a lot of confidence in myself.
You wake up and hope that I cope. You see it all now that I'm gone, 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 gone.
The contest winner will also get mentorship and the opportunity to tour with NPR. Yo-Yo and her fellow performers have already been selected among 50 other entries for a fan favorite vote. Fans can vote on the NPR Tiny Desk Contest fan favorite website. Voting closes this Thursday.
Today, the LA Metro unveiled a new weapons screening system to improve safety in its train stations. But some passengers say they just don't feel safe.
I live in Boyle Heights in East LA, so I take one train here and one train back. It's been a few sketchy people. They'll come in and they'll start yelling. A former co-worker of mine, her son was actually killed in a metro station. And, you know, it's like, where was security then? Us as passengers, we want to feel safe. That's it. We just want to feel safe.
Last year, there was an increase in violent crime on Metro. In response, the agency is installing higher gates and the non-invasive weapons screening. The first one opened in Norwalk today. LA Metro will track the new system's effectiveness over the next year. They'll focus on stations with lots of passengers and high crime rates.
Earth Month is coming to an end, and so is the Urban City Nature Challenge. Hosted by the LA Natural History Museum, the challenge raises awareness around urban wildlife. Urban communities around the world are sharing photos of wildlife in their communities. From incredible animals to plants and insects, we spoke to an educator at the LA Natural History Museum about the challenge and why it matters.
Since a lot of protections have been, slowly but surely taken away, especially after this fire, we really want to up those populations and try to keep all of our nature safe. Kind of like Pokemon Go. You take a photo, you upload it with some information that it'll ask you about, and so that spreads awareness for it and also provides necessary information.
Today is the final day of the challenge, so grab your phone and head outdoors. You can tag NHMLA Community Science on Instagram or submit your photos to the iNaturalist app. And now let's check in with Amy for the weather.
So we are seeing now several people walking around the village, and that has to do with the beautiful sunny weather today. So let's see the exact numbers of that was today. So we are at 65 degrees with full sunshine and a 58% humidity, and that humidity number gives us a sneak peek of how we will be doing the rest of the week. So let's take a look at that. We see pretty sunny weather from Tuesday through Thursday with some cloud thrown in there Tuesday and Thursday. However, we do see some rain and thunder Friday and Saturday, so it will definitely be a gloomier start to our weekend, but we'll definitely take advantage of that sunny weather the next couple of days here in Los Angeles. That is all for weather, and now let's throw it back to the desk with Marina.
It was a hot week in Hollywood, and for the last time this semester, we're bringing the heat to the desk. This is Hollywood Heat.
That's right. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith was re-released in theaters over the weekend.
And I really hate space.
Well, that's okay. The Star Wars re-release opened in over 2,700 theaters, earning over $25 million domestically. That makes it the second biggest opening weekend for a re-release in history. But the real question, and I think we've already answered it, does Marina care?
No, not at all.
And why is that?
I just really don't care about space-related movies. I find them incredibly boring.
Fascinating. You know, Star Wars is a show and a movie series that I grew up loving and watching. And I think it's important to get people to the theaters. I'm glad that people are excited to go and watch a movie in theaters.
I'm all for community, and I'm excited that people are excited. But in my personal opinion, it's a classical series that could die.
Wow, fair enough. Well, why don't we leave it at that for now? But thank you all for tuning in to Hollywood Heat this whole semester.
USC men's hoops continues to leverage the transfer portal as they got a new high-profile recruit from Auburn. USC women's water polo looks to make a splash in the NCAA tournament. LA has 3 teams in the playoffs right now. Who has a chance at a championship? More next on ATVN Sports.
USG election season has kicked off.
They have a huge game on Thursday, right?
Huge.
Prior to that, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
And a warning tonight about a massive storm heading our way.
We're live here at the Galen Center.
What would y'all do if you had $2.5 million?
Music, art, and women empowerment.
And she put her stamp on Big Ten history.
Those are men swimming like fish.
Thanks for watching.
Idelburg TV News. You never miss an episode.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
So, live from the Halo is USC Annenberg's take on NPR's Tiny Desk concerts. This is like a platform for USC students and adjunct students just to perform and play their music for an audience.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Ben Cohen.
And I'm Mia Nunez. It was just announced that USC women's water polo is seeded 3rd in the NCAA tournament. They need to watch out for number 1 Stanford as they're the ones who eliminated USC in the MPSF tournament. The women of Troy will have to depend on senior Tilly Kearns and freshman Emily Osmus to get the job done on the national stage. USC is set to play against Harvard on May 9th in Indianapolis. USC men's basketball added a key piece to its roster with transfer graduate Chad Baker-Mazzara, a versatile guard expected to make an immediate impact. The 25-year-old transfer joins USC after being a starter at Auburn, where he averaged 12.3 points and shot 38.1% from the 3. The addition adds much-needed scoring and experience to the Trojan lineup. He's not the only new face in LA, though. The Trojans have taken full advantage of the transfer portal, but picking up 6 new players so far. Notable transfers are Amarion Dickerson, Rodney Rice, Ezra Osar, and Gabe Dines. An update from the family of incoming freshman Elijah Arenas was released following a car crash that left him in an induced coma. It reads, "In a remarkable and hopeful development, Elijah Arenas has come out of his coma and has shown significant signs of progress within the last 24 hours. Heading into next season, there are only 1 returning player, meaning that coach Eric Musselman has almost an entire new team in his 2nd season as head coach."
The first rounds are underway in the NHL and NBA playoffs, and there are varying levels of excitement about LA's 3 teams still involved. The Lakers are on the brink of elimination thanks to Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers led by 10 points, entering the 4th quarter yesterday, but 43 points from Edwards helped the Timberwolves come back and take a commanding 3-1 series lead. Game 5 is in LA on Wednesday. The Clippers, meanwhile, are tied 2-2 with the Denver Nuggets, despite averaging 8 more points per game. A last-second Aaron Gordon dunk saved the Nuggets from a 3-1 series deficit after the Clippers came back from down 20 points entering the 4th. Game 5 is tomorrow in Denver.
Finally on Draisaitl. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is there. Pass down low, redirect, and kick that rebound, score! Draisaitl!
The Kings, meanwhile, have a 2-2 series of their own, but they should probably be up 3-1. LA had a 2-goal lead going into the third period of Game 4 of its fourth consecutive first-round matchup with the Edmonton Oilers. Then Evan Bouchard tied the game with less than 30 seconds left, before Leon Draisaitl won it in overtime to send the Oilers back to LA all tied up. With 3 Game 5s to come, I think the Clippers should still expect to move forward to round 2 and maybe even further than that. It might be a long offseason for the Lakers, though, and the Kings, let's just say you better not lose 4 years running to the same team. We're just a few extra seconds on Annenberg TV Sports. Mia, do you think the Lakers, are they done?
They're done. I mean, you're going back to Minnesota and you're already down 3-1. How do you expect to come back from that, right? LeBron can only carry so far. Luka can only carry so far. This isn't a great Lakers team. We've known that since the beginning, and I just think it's over for them.
Yeah, I think the Lakers, their biggest issue is that they have LeBron James and Luka Doncic, and Anthony Edwards is the best player on the floor. There's almost nothing you can do about that with how well Edwards is playing. But when you have those two stars, you need them to be your best players. And they've been great, just not as good as Anthony Edwards.
Right.
But with that being said, that is all the time we have this semester on ATVN Sports. For the final time, I'm Ben Cohen.
And I'm Mia Nunez. What's up next, Ari?
Well, for the final time, ATVN's bravest hero is going live on the road. Shed some tears and say goodbye just ahead.
For the entire semester, we've been following our reporter Jack Waterman as he's hit the road all around the USC area. Now he's made it to the newsroom to go behind the scenes of the Annenberg Media Center. Jack, welcome back.
Thanks, Marina. It's good to be back here home where all the real action is happening behind the scenes in front of the camera. For the last episode, I just wanted to take a minute to thank everyone who makes this segment and show possible and show y'all a little bit around our media center here. So we'll hit the road this way and check it out a little bit. So we've got the main halo here in the middle. This is where a lot of our digital and print material comes out of. We'll head this way a little bit where actually our radio show, Annenberg Radio News, just finished up. And we've got one of the producers, Anthony, here. Anthony, we're live with Annenberg TV News. How'd the show go today?
As good as it always does. Perfect.
Any good stories? What was like the top headline for y'all today?
Well, today we covered the first ever Los Angeles sperm race, held downtown. USC won in a head-to-head battle with UCLA.
Amazing. It's all anyone can talk about. Well, congrats on the show. We're going to go finish ours up. See you later. All right. So we got the radio studios back there. And then back in this corner here is where the real magic happens. Now, before we head inside there, I just want to give a quick shout out to my man Kamyar behind the camera. He's been riding with me on Hit the Road all semester, so appreciate you, man. And back behind me here, we got the control room. They're the ones that make all the magic happen, and I'll head inside the studio here. All right, and now we're walking here into Studio C where all the real live stuff happens here. We've got the screen back behind me, green screen couch, and the desk here where, hello, Marina and Ari, how's it going? Oh my goodness.
Good to see you.
This chair feels nice.
Nice to see you in the studio and not in a bar.
Wow, I know, right? That's happened a few too many times. Well, thank you all for having me here.
Of course. Tell us a little bit about your semester.
Oh,
What were some of your favorite
moments?
moments?
Am I being interviewed now? I don't have to do the interview
exactly.
anymore?
Yeah.
Amazing. You know, it was just really fun to get to talk to people, whether they were expecting it or not in many cases. I feel like I got the most unfiltered answers, those real answers, which are sometimes difficult to come by. So it was fun, like we talked about. I spent some time in a couple bars around campus, outside of people's classrooms, and it was just great. You know, every week there seemed to be something new going on, and people always had a lot to say.
Is it nerve-wracking talking to strangers every week?
You know, it's an adrenaline rush for sure. The nerves go away pretty quickly, and at the end of the day, people are super nice and friendly, and it's just awesome to get to talk to them. And the whole joy of going up to random people is that you don't know what you're going to get, right? And you know, I didn't know what I was going to get, and I got so many great voices, perspectives, ages, every single kind of person. So it was just super fun, and I learned a lot about USC and about USC bars as well. So that's a different conversation.
So did we. We appreciate you being out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your segment was always entertaining, but we're happy to have you back in the studio.
I know, it's good to be back one more time.
All right, Ari, take us home.
Sure. Well, thank you all for watching Annenberg TV News, and we'd like to give a special thanks to our control room, MJs, and our faculty for being there every step of the way this semester. I'd also like to invite up all of our other anchors this semester so we can continue to thank the rest of this amazing team.
Thank you to Tom Norris, Bobby Prom, Chris Spicone, Mallory Cara, Rebecca Haggerty, Roz Plater, and our fearless leader, Stacy Shoulder. Finally, we want to thank our executive producer, Benjamin Papp. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Marina Knapik.
And I'm Ari Rose-Marquze. For more coverage, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Have a great night.